Okay, I'm Charlotte A Burr.
Okay. What was it like during the Great Depression? When
Well, they always kidded me about bringing in the Depression because I was born on May 16th, 1929, and it had gotten started then. And it was dry. We had a drought in Saco at the same time that the Depression came on. But I remember that we lived out in the country, and we had sheep because there wasn't much grass, but a sheep can eat closer to the ground, and we had very few cattle, but we had chickens, and so we ate well because we had the meat, and they butchered that, and so actually we ate better than people in town, and you could sell eggs, just so many of them, but we always had different cakes and everything like that we did, and Mother had a garden, and so we had vegetables and that, so we ate. And then, but the only thing is clothes. I remember my mother could sew, and so she would take some of my dad's old shirts, make us shirts and things like that. And of course I was just entered so I was small and everything like that. And I remember that I wore coveralls, and after I got up, so I was walking and everything like that. And it started to rain, and we got rid of the drought in 1938. But it started to, and so and my dad had put in a irrigation system, and so then that made them have hay and everything like that. And then he started to raise cattle, and he did not like sheep, so he was. And then I started first grade, and we had, this might be interesting, is that Fort Pitt Dam was being built right around that time in 1935 and 36, and we had up around Cole, Montana, and all that was the people would come in, and they would live in just any kind of a housing that they could get into, and there were two schools, and they had a primary school, and it was first grade to, I think it was about the 5th grade. We were all together, and then they had a 6th grade school there, and it was all these kids that came in with, and I know I had one real friend, and her dad was a foreman, and what they did was they took out rocks, and they would send them down on the flat cars to Fort Pitt down there. And we had a friend that they had a slide, and it went into a ditch, and it killed several people. But this was the largest earthen dam in the United States for some time, and it is, the beginning of it is still down there if you go to Fort Pitt.
Okay. What was it like when World War II happened and when all the men went into war?
Can you repeat that?
What was it like in World War II when the war happened, when and all the men went to war?
Oh boy, that was a jolt. My dad had been in World War I, and he was devastated when this started. I remember the Pearl Harbor when that happened and everything, and he said, and war was declared then, and he said, oh, you know, so many young lives we lost, but we were losing, or I mean, Germany was winning, and over in England, they were being bombed and everything like that, and so that's why the United States decided to go in to help and start, and England and things like that. And what was it like? Well, it was bad because so many of the young fellows, and they had the draft then, and they were drafted. And I remember I was in, I think it was the 7th grade when this happened. And then when I was in high school, I remember we would have a young man teacher for a little while, and he'd be drafted or called up, and then we'd have another one. And so the younger men were all being taken, and my dad needed help, a hired man, and he went to, there was the agricultural man, and he had the go down to Mexico, and that they bring them up there, and then you could hire them. And I remember we had one from way down in Mexico, and when he went to go home, my dad took him down to where this agriculture association took them, and were going to send them back. And he took him down, and he bought a bunch of some clothes, and he put on all these layers of clothes. And Dad was he had to laugh because it was kind of warm but that way they didn't have to pay anything like that because they were worn.
Right. What was it like raising your children? What was it like raising your children?
During World War II?
Just raising them.
Well, I don't know, we had them, they went to school. It wasn't the same as it is now, or anything like that, because there were certain classes and things that they did, and it didn't seem to be bad or anything like that. Cal was working on the railroad, so and we didn't realize how many days he was either coming or going, and it was over 200 and some days that he was, like I said, going or coming, and I had to take care of him and all like that. And I know in the wintertime, if the car didn't start or something, that was bad, and they didn't have the buses that they do now here. And let's see, I think it was they had, when they third graders, you had to take them to school, and so I had some of the neighborhood kids, and I would take them, and we seemed to have more snow and all like that, but subject-wise and everything, we just did it and all.
Okay. What was it like being a child in your time?
Well, we lived out in the country, so that was different and all, because but I got acquainted, and then during the school year, well, you had your friends and things like that, and then but my mother had been a teacher, so I had to get my homework done and stuff like that, and being a kid, and we had different things that we did, and so I don't know, you just did it, and you didn't think about it.
What do you think of the world now and how people are doing things and how they're reacting?
Well, I think it's rather disjointed, and I really do. I think that we're in quite an upheaval and things like that. And of course, this virus hasn't helped matters or anything like that. But it is a great deal. I know we as being older, and there doesn't seem to be the respect for one another or anything like that. Even young ones respecting young ones and things like that. It's just I don't know. It's kind of scary.
Thank you.
Okay.